Okay. So last week we talked about we finalized on we talked about user stories, right? We talk about the user story life cycle, talk about story mapping from the feature to the epic to the story card. We talk about what makes a good user story, the who, the what, the why, acceptance criteria and supporting models. We talk about the two type of user story method, where you have this type of acceptance criteria and this when you want to do automated testing. We talk about the prioritization techniques, the different prioritization criteria, what definition of ready is, definition of done. We talked about estimation. Okay, today we're gonna so we did the story pointing. We saw how that is done in refinement. We also watched a video on that. We learned about planning poker, how to use planning poker. Today we're going to start with sprint velocity, average velocity, and burn down chart. But before we start, do we have any questions before we start talking about velocity? No questions. Okay, good. So we go into velocity. So what is sprint velocity? So when you start working in Scrum, you're going to be hearing things like, oh, this is our velocity as a team. So what do they mean by velocity, right? So what they mean by velocity is just that they are saying that this is the number of story points we completed as a team in one sprint. Remember, I told you what one sprint is, right? Sprint is the heartbeat of Scrum, right? And in a sprint, you're going to have what we call sprint planning. You're going to have daily Scrum. You're going to have sprint retrospective. You're going to have sprint review, and you're going to have backlog refinement, right? So that's a sprint, right? So velocity is that number of story points. Remember, we're estimating last week, right? And we talked about the fact that we take moving microwave, right? We estimated it. Moving fridge, we estimated it. So those things that we're estimating are called story points, right? So velocity is the total number of story points we're able to complete in one sprint. Okay? In some organization, you get there, they will be using things like hours, right? Some will use stories. But no matter what the data they are using, the concept is always the same. Velocity is what you can accomplish in a sprint. Now, we're going to go through an example to show you this velocity. Now, someone will ask me that, oh, it is a new team. How do we know what our velocity is, right? Most of the time, what the team will do is they will try to estimate, right? So let's say we have about 10 people working on a sprint, right? They can estimate that, okay, let's start with the fact that, okay, maybe each one of us can finish a 2-story pointer, right? So they will say, okay, our velocity, that initial velocity will be a 20-story point. That is not their velocity. They don't know what their velocity is yet, right? Before the team will understand what their velocity is, they will do about 3 sprints, right? Then they will now take the average velocity. The team will now say, okay, this is what our velocity looks like. Okay, so I'm going to show you an example now. We're going to walk one through. Let me open my whiteboard. Then we'll walk one through now. Okay. I'm going to share my whiteboard so we can do one right now. Okay, share screen. 1 second. I'm going to. Okay, my whiteboard is opening up. Okay, it's open now. New whiteboard. Screen 2. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, good. So now let's say we are just starting a new sprint. Let's say we are about to start our sprint. This is a new team. We don't know what our velocity is, right? And I told you, I said, okay, let's have an agreement. We have about 10 people working on this sprint. So let's say that each one of us can finish like a 2-story point. So at the end of the day, let's say if everyone is finishing 2-story points, we have about 20-story points to work with, right? So that's our initial velocity, right? So now what the team will do is, for example, let's look at these items. I'm just writing letters, but imagine this letter like stories. So this is story 1, story 2, story 3, story 4, story 5, story 6. So imagine all these are stories. Do you know what we did last week when we were using planning poker that we said moving microwave, that we now estimated it? So let's say this first one is moving microwave, this one is moving chair, moving table, moving fridge. So imagine them as one story. That's what I'm trying to say, right? So imagine this is a story, right? This is a story card, this is a story card, this is a story card. So now imagine that we've done that planning poker that we did last week. So we've estimated M to be 8. Sorry, let me stop my, 1 second. I want to stop my WhatsApp so it doesn't keep making noise. Let's see. Okay. So let's say that we've done that estimation, right? We have 8. We estimated M as 8. M is a story. We estimated O as 5. We estimated V as another 8. Let's say 8. We estimated I as 1, N as 2, G as 5. So let's say, so what's the total of this now? Can someone give me the total of this? So this is 8 plus 5, which is 13. 13 plus 8 is 21. 21 plus 1 is 22, 24, 29. So we have a story point. We have this total as 29. So imagine now that we have what we call our initial velocity. Initial velocity. Let's say our initial velocity is, we're just giving an example. We've decided our initial velocity is 25. Let's say our initial velocity is 25, right? So we have all these items. In short, let's just say everything. Let's say the total is our initial velocity, right? So let's say all this is our initial velocity, which is 29. So what that means is that for sprint 1, we are taking all these stories into sprint 1. So we'll say our initial velocity for sprint 1 is 29. So that's what we are trying to say now. So remember, so let's now start. Remember, we're doing a 2-week sprint, right? So now we'll say this is 1, this is day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, day 6, day 7, day 8, day 9, and day 10, right? So let's now say that this is the total work we took in, 29, right? So the first day, which is your sprint planning day, we didn't achieve anything. Nothing was done. It's our sprint planning day. We just started, right? So nothing was done. So at that point, our story point is still 29. So let's say on day 2, we completed M. M is 8. So we completed only M in day 2, right? So what will be the remaining story points? If we completed 8 on day 2.
21.
Good. So we'll have 21 here, right? Now, On day 3, let's say we completed another 8. We completed V, right? We completed V. So I'll just put M here. You know already that M is 8. We completed V. What will be the remaining story points?
13.
13. So let's say on day 4, we completed N. We completed N on day 4. So what do we have left?
11.
11. So let's say on day 5, we completed nothing. What do we have left?
11.
So let's say on day 6, we completed 5. What do we have left?
6.
Let's say on day 7, we completed nothing. On day 8, we completed 1. What do we have left?
5.
On day 9, we completed nothing. What do we have left?
5.
On day 10, we completed nothing. What do we have left?
5.
So what is our velocity for sprint 1?
24.
You said what?
24.
24.
How did you get 24?
29 minus 5.
29 minus 5. Good. So our velocity for sprint 1 is 24. Remember, we tried initial velocity of 29, but we finished 24. We didn't finish 5. We'll have our reasons for not finishing it, right? It might be it was just too much to handle. We couldn't do it, right? It was too much for us to handle. It might even be the fact that, oh, there were some dependencies within notice or within that came up while during the sprint, and we couldn't do that. So let's now say that's for the sprint 1. We now say, okay, for sprint 2, we're taking another set of stories, right? So maybe when we're taking in another set of stories, we'll say, oh, let's take in 25, because we know we're able to complete 24, right? But based on the priority, we wanted to take 25 because there is nothing we wanted to drop, right? That, okay, we didn't finish this one because there was something that came up. It's not like we didn't have capacity to do it. So let's say we took 25 in, right? So if we take in 25 and let's say we finish 25, you know what I mean by we finished 25. We took in 25. Remember, we took in 29 here, but we finished 24. But in sprint 2, we took in 25 and we finished 25. Now, let's say in sprint 20, that's sprint 2. Now we'll say, 1 second. Okay, so let's say that in, I was trying to move this up, hold on. So remember we said sprint 1 is 24. We now have sprint 2. We took in 25. We finished 25, right? So now let's say in sprint 3, we decided to take in 28. So maybe the team said, oh, because in sprint 2, when we took in 25, we finished the whole 25 and we still have a bit of capacity, right? So they took in 28. Right? So if they take in 28 and they finish that sprint 3 and they got a 25, right? At that point in time, during sprint 1, sprint 2, sprint 3, the team is still doing trials, right? They are still trying to understand what their velocity is as a team. So what they did is, during the first one, it was an initial velocity. They took in a 29. They based it on the fact that they can do two story points, right? And they did, at the end of the day, they finished 24. Now, based on this, on sprint 2, they took in 25, which is so close to what they finished the other time, 24. But they are saying that, okay, because that one, a lot of issue happened, we should have finished it. But because of that, we won't go above what we did before more, but we just take a bit more. So they took in 25 and they actually finished that 25. So they will say, oh, sprint 2, we finished 25. Maybe we had a bit of more capacity. Maybe we can do more, right? They decided that in sprint 3, they should take in 28, right? But they still finished 25. So what the team will now do is what we call the average velocity. So what they are trying to do here is they want to find their rhythm. They want to find out what their average velocity, what their capacity, what can they actually finish in a sprint. So now they've done 3 sprints. They will now take that average velocity, right, of the 3 sprints, right? So the first one was a 24, right? The second one is a 25, and the third one is a 25. So they will now take that average velocity and say 24 plus 25 plus 25 divided by 3. So what is the answer to this?
24.6.
24.6. So I'll round it up to 25, right? So the team will now say that their average velocity is 25, which means that they should not take more than 25 per sprint. So every sprint, their story point will be 25 story points, right? That will be their story point. Now, their average velocity is 25, right? But it doesn't mean that every sprint will be 25. There are some time it will be less than 25, right? And that will be based on some certain conditions, right? For example, if some of the team members are on vacations, right, it will affect the story points. If we have shared resources that are going to be working on with us during that sprint, it's also going to affect the story points, right? Remember what I explained as shared resources. Why? Sorry, 1 second. Okay, so the shared resources. So what did I explain by shared resources the other time? You know, when we talk about that, we have persistent team, right? That your Scrum team is a persistent team where you have the Scrum Master, the product owner, and the development team. Shared resources are your flexible team. You need a security analyst to help you with your security design or architecture or something. You are going to call the person to come into your Scrum at that period you need them. So maybe you need them this sprint, right? You know that they're also going to have the work they're going to be doing in that sprint. They will add that story point to it. So in that scenario, because your team normally does 25, maybe the work the security guy is going to be working on will be another, let's say, 5 story points. So in that sprint, your velocity will be 30 story points. In a situation where there is vacation, maybe 2 people are not going to be around for some days. Your story points in that sprint might be 20, right? So some team over time, they keep doing this average velocity over time. But what this average velocity helps with is for you to just understand what the capacity of your team is. So what this 25 is saying that if we are everyone is available, no vacation, nothing, and we are all complete at every point in time in our sprints, we will complete at least 25 story points. Is it clear? Any question? Ask questions if you don't understand, please.
Can you go over the 30? How'd you end up getting 30 with this shared resource?
Okay, so what I said is that we know that for our sprint, velocity for sprint 1 is 24. Our velocity for sprint 2 is 25. Our velocity for sprint 3 is 28, but we finished 25. We got the average velocity, right, which is 25. Now, I said that, but this 25 is what the team can actually accomplish every sprint right? But it doesn't mean that the story points in some sprints will not change. It will change, right? And things can affect it to change. For example, vacation. So we have 10 people that normally complete 25 story points, and like 2 people are going to be on vacation for 3-4 days, right? It's going to affect the story point. So I'm like, and I just gave an example that can be a 20 story point because maybe they are on vacation, right? Now, another thing that can affect it, I said shared resources, right? So for example, we already have 10 people that are completing 25 story points. So shared resources. So maybe we had another cybersecurity guy on our sprints, maybe on sprint 8, right? And that guy is going to be working on something that is relating to about 5 story points, right? Which means that our regular 25 plus that 5 story points will now become 30 story points for sprint 8, right? So in sprint 8, our velocity will be 30 story points. So that's how I got the 30 story points. It was an example of when we have flexible resources on our team. Okay, Ebuka.
Yeah, thank you so much. I have a question. What happened when you join a team?
Mm-hmm.
Let's say it's a new team, you just newly joined the team, and then this team have not been practicing a Scrum, and then you want to know their average velocity. So how do you determine that? Did you have to start afresh, or how did you get the data to know what they have been doing all this while?
So if you get to a team and you ask them that what are they doing, if it's a new team, like it's a new project, I'm going to show you what you're going to do, right? We're going to do a simulation after this. I'll show you what we're going to do. But if the team is already existing, they've already started doing Scrum, there will be a way they've been doing the analysis. Either they are doing it in hours or they are using story points, right? So they will give you that data. They will give you that information. You can also check it in Jira, and I will show you how to check it also in Jira, right? You can check that information yourself, right? If they are not doing it well, then you can now encourage them to do it right in terms of what do they want to agree on? Are they going to be using story point? Are they going to be using days? Are they going to be using hours? But they must have a form of measurement, right? So that they can understand how well they finish what they are doing. When they commit to work, how well do they finish this work, right? They must have a way. But most organizations will use story point. But this story point, some organizations will also estimate it to a number of days. I will show you a sample. They will change that story point into days. Some organizations will take 1 story point, means that you can complete it within 1 day. That's just the way they want to do it. They can put it in different form, but most organizations use story points. Also.
Yeah, thank you so much for the class. I wanted to ask is there a standard grading system? Like, you know how you have like in marking schemes, for example, maybe you have 97 to, 90 to this is A, things like that. Is there a standard grading system for for marking, like estimating user stories, or is that developed in-house? I don't know if you understand my question.
That do we have a standard way of doing it, or you develop? So what I would say is, I can see a message from Loretta to please, can you shed more light on story point? So what I'm going to say regarding this is, let me go to my slide. So I will show you something. So to answer your question, Ose, right? There is no one cap fits all, right? There is no one cap fits all, right? So what do I mean by that? Some organizations use what we call Fibonacci series, right? Which we did last week, right? Where you estimate and you look at the effort and complexity. Is it double the size? Then it's going to be a 2. Is it more than double the size? It's a 3, right? They use this Fibonacci series to do that estimation. These are story point. Some teams will use small, medium, large, and they will put the story point of what small means, a 2, medium, a 5. If you watch that video we watched last week, right, you can see their own small was like a 2. Their medium was like a 3 or something, their large was like a 5, right? Organization will place that, right? And they use that to estimate. Different organization can use different things. So what they are just saying that some will even use hours, right? They will take that moving microwave. They will say it will take us 5 hours to finish it. Moving dishwasher, it will take us 10 hours. It's still a form of measurement, right? So, but the common one is this Fibonacci series when they use story points or they use the t-shirt sizing, small, medium, large, right? They will put what they want. This one can be a 3 to them. This one can be like a 2. This one will be a 3. This one will be a 5, right? Depending on what they ascribe to small, medium, and large, right? And some organization will use this in hours, right? Does it make sense to you? But you must have a form of measurement in your team so that you can say, oh, as a team, when we actually commit to a 2-week sprint, we can finish a 25 story point. What that 25 story points means now, it might be 3 stories. It might be 4 stories. It might be 5 stories. But what we know is that from the prioritized story points, from the prioritized stories, we can finish 25 story points, right? One story like this, one user story, right? It can be a 5-story point. It can be a 3-story point, depending on how we estimate, like the way that what we did last year, like we're using planning poker, right? Depending on how we estimate it, we now determine that user story, if it's going to be 8 points, if it's going to be 5 points, if it's going to be 3 points, right?
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Yeah. Any other questions on story pointing and velocity? Okay, so if we understand velocity, I'm just going to show you burn down charts, right? Now for burn down chart, I'll show you using whiteboard, right? But I'll also show you in Jira. I just want to show you on whiteboard so you understand how that happens, right? But you can always see it in Jira. Or say, are you still raising up your hands or I can ignore?
Oh, please ignore. Sorry, I didn't realize that. Sorry.
Okay, so now let's do burn down charts, right? So let's say that we have 25 story points. Remember our 25 story points. Let's say we are in sprint 2, right? So we are in sprint 2, right? 25 story points. Sorry, sprint 2, 25 story points. So what will happen is, let's say we now have 25, 20, 15, 10, 5, 5, 2, 1. Okay. Day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, day 6, day 7, day 8, day 9, day 10. Okay, so let's say on day 1, we didn't finish anything, right? Day 1, our first day, nothing was done. But by day 2, let's say we finish 7 story points, right? 25 minus 7 is what?
18.
25 minus 7?
18.
18. So 18 is somewhere here, right? This is 15, this is 20. So 18 will be somewhere here, right? So if 18 is somewhere here, in day 2, we'll finish 8. We'll finish what? 7, right? So it's going to be something like this. So you burn down 7 story points and it's somewhere here. Remember, this is 20, so 18 is somewhere here. So we burn down 7 story points, right? So let's say in day 3, we finish 3 story points. So what would be, where will you burn it down to? In day 3, we finish 15, right? Because we are where in day 2, we are in 18. You now finish 3 story points in day 3. So it will come to 15. See where 15 is. This is 15. So you burn it down to 15. So let's say in day 4, you did not finish anything. Where will you burn it down to?
15.
It stays on 15.
It stays on 15. So it would be a straight line like this, right? So let's say in day 5, you completed 3 story points. Where will you burn it down to?
12.
12. So 12 will be somewhere around here, right? So I'll burn it down to somewhere around here, right? 12. So let's say in day 5, in day 6, you did not complete anything. So where will it burn to?
It stays on 12.
It stays on 12. Let's say on day 7, we completed 7 story points. Where will you burn it to?
That'll be 5. Yeah, 5.
5.
Yeah.
So you burn it down to 5, right? So on day 5, you completed another 3 story points. Where will you burn it to?
2.
So 2 is somewhere here. So I'll burn it down here. In day 9, you completed 1 story point.
0.
You burn it down to 0. So somewhere here in day 9, you completed, right? You burn it down to 0. So this is what your burn down chart looks like. So that when you see your burn down chart, you can see where you completed most of the work. So when they say, oh, a burn down chart, can you show us what your burn down chart looks like? This is what they are requesting for. This is your burn down chart, right? And your burn up chart is just the same thing, but going up, right? As you are completing the work, you complete it until you get to your story point, right? Now, you don't need to do this. You can always get this from Jira, right? I'm just showing you how that happens, right? You are burning down the work. So this is your 25 story point. As you get the work done, you keep burning it down till you get to 0, right? So that's what your burn down chart actually means, right? So you are burning how it shows you how you get the work done, right? How many stories have you completed? So it's called burn down chart. Is it clear? Any questions on the burn down chart? Let's see if I can open my Jira and show you something on Jira. Okay. I'm going to share my Jira now. Let's see if I can show you something. So this is a Jira board, right? Let's see if I can get a burn down chart here. So this one, because there's nothing we've done, but you can see where the burn down chart will come here, right? Let me check another project if I can see something. See this one. See if there's any records. So you can see your burn down chart if you go there, right? This one was a sample. So what I'm trying to explain to you at that other time, right, is to show you how the work is done, right? Because this was a training work, it just showed like on a line like this, right? Normally, as you're burning down that work, it will show you, right? So this is how you get your burn down chart, right? So, and you can also see it on your sprints board, right? If you come to the site, insights, you can see your burn down chart here, okay? So it is used to show So it is used to show the day or period when the most work is done. At what point do you use the burn up chart? Not really. I don't know. Most time it's burn down chart that most people use. And that's why I explained the burn down chart. But the burn up chart is just the opposite of it as well. Right? So burn up chart is you want to see it's just who complete the information in the burn down chart. You don't complete it as people are getting the work done, right? As they are moving their work on the board, right? The chart will be updating itself. You get what I'm saying? As they are moving work here, the chart will be updating itself, right? Yes. The Scrum Master will put this in the review when you guys are doing sprint review. When you guys are doing sprint retrospective, it will be a form of discussion, right? So for example, if you notice that in the burn down chart, day 4, day 5, day 6, nothing was done, right? You can now have the discussion. What was happening? Why were things like that? You can use it to have a discussion with the team, right? If you're working with a stakeholder and the stakeholder does not care about your velocity and your burn down chart, you don't need to put it in your review, your sprint review, right? But you can use it to have a discussion with your team member during retrospective, right? But for the review, some stakeholder will want to also see how you guys are burning down work, want to understand what is your velocity as a team as well, right? They want to know. So you put it in your review. So when we're doing sprint review, I will show you that as well. Okay? So you put it in your review. But if they don't want to know, you don't need to put it in your review. Okay? You don't need to say, oh, we completed at 5 story points. If they don't care, why are you putting it, right? But if they are the stakeholders that care, then you want to put the details in your review. And I'll show you a sample as well when we get to sprint review simulation. Any other question? Okay, so let me just use this opportunity. I will explain this when we start working on Jira. I think we'll soon start working on Jira. So let me just explain this Jira platform. So this is what your Jira will look like. So now we want to go into the simulation, right? This is what a Jira looks like. This is what your Jira platform looks like, right? Now your Jira platform will have things like projects. So what this means is that this is the different projects I've worked on, you'll see them here, right? So these are the different projects I've worked on, right? So for you to create a new project, you just click on it and you create a new project. It will ask you, do you want to create under software development? You can see that Jira can be used for so many other things, right? So for example, under software development, if you want to, it will tell you, do you want a Kanban board or a Scrum, right? So Scrum is when you have like dedicated team, right, to get the job done. If you feel like you don't have a dedicated team, they just want to get work done, they want to be able to track the work they're doing and all that, then you use a Kanban, right? So we have dashboard. So dashboard is just to create dashboard of the work you're doing. Like if you want to create all those dashboards, then you can add teams, right, to your squad, right? Another thing you want to have is I'm going to project settings. I want to I wanted to show you guys something. Hold on. Okay, it's not on that one. Let me show you here. So what I wanted to show you was, I wanted to show you the reports, right? That you can see where you get your report from. This velocity is just showing you that on this project is only sprint 1. So this one will tell you what you committed to. So this for sprint 1, there was a commitment for 25. So 25 story points was committed, but 17 was completed. So it will show you the details of what was committed and what was what was committed and what was completed. And by the time you do sprint 1, sprint 2, sprint 3, sprint 4, it will show you that details, right? So over time, you can see what you've committed to and what you've completed, and you can see what your average velocity is as well, right? So what I'm just trying to say is that you don't have to calculate it. Everything will come up for you here. You see the details here, right? So you can see all the cumulative over time, what you've done, what you've achieved, what is still in progress, right? Everything can be, you can see all those details here. Now, this is what the board looks like. So on the board, you have what we call to do. So if I go back here, you have what we call the backlog, right? Then you have what you do on the sprint. So I don't want to rush this. I'm going to do that, but let's start from the beginning, right? So from the beginning, then we can now walk through. But as we are about to start from the beginning, I will need at least 9 people so to support me in this. So if you are interested in supporting me, just send your email to the chat. I'll pick the first 9 people and add them to my board, and they will also join me in doing this. Okay.
Yeah.
First 9 emails. I'm gonna pick those 9 emails to support in doing this. Okay. I'm gonna share my screen again. So now I'm opening another Jira instance. So what I'm doing is what we call opening a Jira instance, right? So I'm opening a Jira instance. Okay, so I'm opening a Jira instance. Now, when you get to your organization, you don't need to open a Jira instance if there's already a team that exists, right? And they already have their Jira board. You don't need to open a Jira instance. When do you need to open a Jira instance? You need to open a Jira instance where you're working on a new project, right? And how do you do that? How do you create a new instance? In most big organizations, they will have a team that they call the Jira administrators, right? You just let them know that you need a new instance for a new project. You make a request. They'll have a way they make that request. Maybe they use ServiceNow to make that request, or they will use a Jira service desk. There's a Jira service desk to also do requests, right? Depending on what the organization is using. So you need to be able to find out, how do you guys make your requests? Do you have my marketplace where you make requests? Do you use ServiceNow, or do you use your Jira service desk? So you just want to find out, what do you guys use to make requests? So you can now create a new Jira instance and a Confluence instance, right? But if the team is already in existence, you don't need to do that. They will already have a Jira and a Confluence board. Only if that gym is not using that and they're telling you that, we want to start using that, so help us curate it, okay? So imagine this now from a new perspective. You are given a new project you want to start. So you need a Jira instance and a Confluence instance, okay? So that's what I created now. I'm selecting Confluence because I need Confluence for my documentation, to store my documentation and all that, okay? Then next. So it's setting up my site now. You can see it's loading. Okay, so you guys have sent the email. Let me see. We have more than 9, but I'm just going to take the first 9, okay? Because I can't do more than that, okay? As you guys are starting your project, right? you guys are going to be in groups, right? So you guys can create a Jira instance, right? It will take up to 10 of you. You can do that, right? And use it to manage your work, to get your work done. It gives you that opportunity to actually experience it. It gives you that opportunity to do this on your own, right? And it's easier when you have a group of 10, so you can do it together, right? If it's one or two people, you can still learn, but it's easier when everyone is doing, so that you can see it when everyone is moving their stories on the board and all that, right? So it's easier. So I'm just going to say I'm experienced with Jira. I'm setting it up for my software team. My team is new to Agile methodology. We're going to be spending time. We have a tight schedule. If I don't say that, if I say we have a tight schedule, it knows that it has to be a Scrum, right? Scrum team. So I'm going to put this as Agile team. Let's see if it's going to accept it. Great. So it created a recommended Scrum for us, right? Because I said that we're going to be we have a tight schedule. So it's asking me that, do I want to add this other tools to it? So if I add this, I can use Google Sheet, I can use GitHub, I can use Slack. If I add Teams, I can use Teams, I can use Jenkins, but I'm going to skip all that, right? And now we have our Jira instance easily, right? So this is our Jira instance. And from here as well, if you go to this, when you're on your Jira space, if you go to these boxes, you can switch over to your Confluence page, right? Now, if I click on it, it will take me to my Confluence page, right? So this is our Confluence. It said, welcome to this. You are going to be creating knowledge base, collaborating with teams and all that. Yes. But if you click one, it's fine. If you don't click, if you skip, it's also fine, right? So I'm just going to say create knowledge base as well. Software development. I'm going to show you another one. I'm going to be adding the teams. Okay, so now I have our Confluence page, right? So this is our Confluence page. Your Confluence page is used to store documentation, right? And you can also create space, right, in Confluence. So I'm going to go back to my former Jira. I want to show you something there. One second. Okay. Show you what I want to show you. So on this Jira board, this is screen. You can see this is Confluence, right? You can see this. You can see the different spaces I've created, right? Then you can also create your own space, right? So most time when you get to a new project, they will give you a blank one, like the one we have, right? The one I'm going to use for you, right? But you can also create more spaces on that board, right? So I'm just showing you to understand that if you have a conference page and the team already have their conference page and they said they are working on a new project, it doesn't mean that you have to go and get another instance. It might just be that you need to create a space on that same board. I hope you understand, right? But if the team does not have a board at all, then you might need to request for an instance. But if they already have this, what you just need is to create a new space for that project, okay? Because you can have different space for different projects. You can see this is Flaky. If you open another one, you see another project. If you open another one, you see another project, right? And it's used to store documentation, okay? So now that we understand that, Loretta.
Thank you so much, Florence. I just want to find out something. So when you say Jira instance, what do you mean? Because I know Jira as Jira, so but I'm just curious about what the instance is. Is there a difference between the Jira or it's still the same Jira platform as Jira instance? Like, I don't understand.
It's still the same platform. What I mean by instance is you are requesting for an instance. So instance is more like license. You are getting a new instance, a new page. How will I put it? Like a new instance.
Like a new project?
Yes, something like that. A new space. A new space, right? A space to work with, right? So we call it instance. So sorry. I was just trying to see how I can put it better. Just a new space. Yeah, something.
All right.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's a different thing entirely.
No, it's still Jira. It's Jira and Confluence.
Jira.
I just call it Jira instance. So why I said so is that as you are working, you are using an instance of Jira. Another team, let's say somewhere in banking and personal and commercial banking, they are also using Jira, right? So what your organization has what we call that enterprise Jira, but they will be creating different instance for different projects on the team.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, because it doesn't mean because you have Jira, the other team are using it, but they won't have access to your own instance, right? Until you give them access to your own. But it's still that same enterprise Jira, but they have different instance, different spaces that they are working on. Okay. Biodun, is it Biodun or Bodun?
Thank you. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
So Florence, I'm looking at I use Confluence, but it looks nothing like this. So I'm paying extreme attention to what exactly is going to change because my Confluence I use for documentation.
Yes.
This is closer to a chat box. Mine is closer to an Excel, not an Excel, like it's divided into two. The topic is on the left, and then the description of the documentation is on the right.
Okay, so wait and see. Okay. So at this point in time, just a board, nothing has happened, right? So now we had a project. So we're going to be working on a project, right? That we took away last week. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to create a space. So what I'm doing is I'm creating a space for our project, right? Next. So I'm going to call our space name Olymptis, right? So this is our project. So we're going to be working on Olymptis project. Create space. Is it similar to what you use now?
It's getting closer.
Okay. So this page that we have here is what we call the home page, right? This home page can be designed in any way you want it, right? The way we have the Olymptis project, we can have details here. I'm going to go to edit. You can have what we call, we can say, welcome to our space. We're going to be working on the Olymptis project. So you can say our team members are, you put the team member's name. But before we do that, I'll publish. Before we do that, I need to add our team members, right? So for you to add teams, right, I need to invite people to conference. So I'm going to do invite to conference, right? And I'm going to add those people's emails to that, okay? So I'm going to get the emails now and I'll add. So I have, this is the first person I'm going to add. So you're going to receive that email and you're going to add, you're going to accept. Okay. Second. So teams invite to conference. I'm not sure about it, guys. So I'm going to do it one after the other so that you can be telling me immediately as you're seeing the access. Okay. Okay, please check your email and let me know you have access. I've invited 2 people. So in organization, you can see you can do what I'm doing, right? Another thing you can do is most of the time they will tell you that, okay, you can add them to in my marketplace and everybody will have access at the same time, right? So you can do that. All those things you can learn it when you get to the organization, how to use the marketplace. There is always instruction on how to go about it, right? So now what I'm doing is I'm adding them individually, right? And this is what you do when you have a new person on the team, right? You're going to also add them like this, right? Individually, depending on the structure your organization runs, right? Okay. So what I did is I'm adding them to both Jira and Conference at the same time. So I've added 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me see one new message. Okay. I don't know if I'll get to you, but I've added Samuel, I've added Uche, I've added Loretta, I've added Adebayo. Now I'm adding Mohammed. Just follow through. Even if you are not using the board, follow through, right? As you're following through, you will also learn, right? And when you start your project, you guys can form an instance. And if you need my help to create one, if you don't understand it, let me know, and I will come on board to help you create one so you can use it to run your project, okay? So I've added 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think there's the 7th person I'm adding. And also I'm adding RB. Okay. This the 9th person. So let's see if those people have access before we know if we're adding other people. So Loretta has joined, Samuel done, invitation of Mohammed, you said you didn't get the email. I'm gonna try again one more time. If your email is correct, you should get it. Check the email you sent.
Sorry, is the maximum 10 people because it's a Scrum team? Because we're going to be doing it as a Scrum team?
No, the maximum is 10 people because if I go more than 10, I have to pay license fee.
Oh, okay.
Yes, that's right. So, and you pay the license fee, you pay per individual, right? I'll show you what the license fee looks like. Is this your email?
Yes, it is. I think Zoom was changing the first letter to caps lock. That's why.
Okay, let's see. Okay. Okay. Adebayo, were you part of the first 10? Okay. So Adebayo,
Yes.
is your email correct? ymail.com?
Yes, please.
Okay. I'll try one more time. I want us to start. Okay. So try. So I'll just go in straight and say, okay, so, this is the home page. I said you can decorate it, right? I'm not going to be decorating it now, but you can decorate this, right? and you can add team members, right? So if I look at, let me see the people that have joined first. So if you go here, let's search for people. I can see, Adebayo, are you sure you're not in?
I didn't get any mail, so I'm wondering.
So, okay, hold on. Let me do something.
I'm having a little issue on my end. See if you can invite somebody else, because I don't want to hold anyone up.
Who is having issues?
This is Priestley, priestley06@gmail.com.
Okay, so I should invite someone else. Is that
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't want to hold us up.
Okay, I think I will invite Kaisia. Adebayo, try using that email. Oh, sorry, that was an error. Use that chat I sent to you and see if you can accept from there if it's gonna work for you. Okay, so I'm gonna go on because it's not like we need to do this right now because we can still can do this. I can add you guys later. Okay, I just wanted to have access so that you can start working on it as well. Okay. So for those that already have access, you can come into this page and see if you have access. Okay, so it's telling me I can't add any more people. I need to remove Priscilla. So if I go to the admin, I can always remove someone. So when you start working and you realize that you want to remove someone, maybe the person is no more in your organization, you can remove, you can suspend, right? So the access will be revoked, which I just did now. I've revoked one access. Now I'm going to see if I can invite. Who was the last person I was trying to invite? Let's see. I still can't invite. So Cassia, just wait. Let that access be revoked, then we'll come back, okay? Okay, so we're going to start our project now. So we're going to start now. So the first thing we want to do is we want to look at it from I gave you guys an assignment. I don't know how many people worked on that assignment, right? The one I gave you the last time, right? So this is just the home page. So, and I told you that you can create a space, which I did. I created a space for Olympus, right? So this is our project space. Now there's something we have here. We call it pages. You can always create pages for your documentation. This is how you create a page. You can also use this create to create a page as well, right? It will create a page for you. So this is a new page. It can do that for you, right? Because it's new, it's telling me, it's giving me, it wants me to like follow all this. So ignore all those things that are saying, follow this, right? So this is the page right now, right? So we have the Olympus page that we created. So now what do we want to do? What do we want to achieve? We are starting the new project. I don't know if anyone actually went through that information. If you did, okay, I'm seeing a chat. Let me check. What do we need a page for? You mean this page that we created? What do we need it for? I'll tell you. It's used for documentation. So now most organizations that run Agile, they will have a Confluence page and a Jira page, right? A Confluence page for their documentation, for all their artifacts. This is where they will store all their information. Then Jira will be where they'll put all the stories for tracking those information, right? For tracking their stories. So as we go ahead now, I'll show you how the documentation come about, okay? So now let's start. So imagine Olympus as a project. I don't know. Did you guys go through that simulation question? Anybody? One person? Yes. Okay. I can see yes. I can see yes. Okay. Good. Good. Okay. Good. So now we're going to start. So imagine you giving that Olympus project now, and they're telling you that, okay, they want you to start working on that project. Right now, you are let's say you are the product owner, That's the Salesforce consultant, or you are the Salesforce delivery manager, right? What is the first thing you're going to do? What will you do first? And look at it from the angle that the organization is running an agile environment. They want to run Scrum and all that. So what will you do first? It has to be interactive. I want to hear from you guys. So what will you do first? Ida said create a backlog. Okay, question. Can you repeat the question? So the question is, you've given a project. The Olympics project I gave to you is a project, right? So now you are the Salesforce consultant. You are the delivery manager. You are the implementation manager that they put on that project, that they've given that project to, right? What will be the first thing you will do, right? Ida said you will create a backlog. Mohammed said you will create a project vision.
You have to create, you have to gather requirements.
Mm-hmm.
When you gather requirements, you use the requirements to generate user story.
Mm-hmm.
And before your user story, you get an epic out of the requirement, then you break it down to user story.
Mm-hmm.
Then from there, you let me read it. I'll get back. Let me read it.
No problem. It's fine. Okay. Kaiser said you will do a planning phase. I love that. You will do a planning phase. Good. Uche said project vision and objective. Mohammed said project vision. So roadmap. Good. Edwin, roadmap. Good. Now, Ida said something about backlog. Mohammed said something about vision. Uche said something about vision. Edwin said roadmap. Loretta and Kaiser said planning. Now, I like that, right? All these things you said, that's the things we're going to do before we can actually start a Scrum. You can't just start a Scrum like a sprint. Let's start sprints. You can't do that. You need to do what we call initial planning and readiness. Now, what Edwin, Uche, Mohammed, Ida said, they are part of the planning phase. Right? So what Loretta and Kaiser said is what we're going to do. We're going to do what we call initial planning and readiness. So in that initial planning and readiness is where you do your product vision and all those things. Okay. Now, so I'm going to create a page here and I'm going to call it initial. I'm going to call it initial planning and readiness. Right? So now I've created that page and I call it initial planning and readiness, right? What I'm going to do now is I want to create a table. So all these things, they are just like our Excel. You know those Excel things you do? Everything is here, right? Action item, you want to insert an image and all those things. So this is table, right? So I'll use this to create a table. So I just click on it and it gave me this table, right? So if you want to add more, for example, let's say this is I'm doing SN, right? If you want to add more to the table, let's say here, I'll say initial
Sorry, please, can you just go a step back? How did you get to this point? I know where you got the table, but before you created the initial planning and readiness.
Okay, so I'll close it. So what I did is let me just delete it. So what I did is I created a page.
Okay, page.
Yes, you create a page. So, and I called it initial planning and readiness, right? Then I said that I need a table, right? So I click on the table and it gave me a table, right? And I'm putting my headers for the table, right? For my initial planning and readiness. So I'll call this initial planning items, right? Members. And if you want to add more to the table, you can see at the top, you can see I'm telling it to insert column. So it will insert more. Easy, like that, like your Excel, easily. If I want you to insert more rows, just come here. You see the plus sign, right? If you are clicking on the plus sign to add more, you see? If I want to delete, just stay somewhere in the middle, right? You see X, you delete it easily, okay? So the first thing you want to do is your initial planning and readiness. So what consists of your initial planning and readiness? The first thing you want to do is discovery session. Discovery session with the sponsor. You know who a sponsor is, right? I want you guys to be able to just speak up if you know what I'm talking about, just add to it. Do you know who a sponsor is?
Yes.
Okay, good. Who is a sponsor?
The stakeholders, the product owner.
Don't mess it up.
The person sponsoring the project.
The person sponsoring the project. Yeah.
Person sponsoring the project, right? So that's the person that is giving that authority that, okay, let this project go ahead, right? So the product owner might not be the sponsor, right? The product owner is someone that has been given that that person is going to go and represent the team, the stakeholder on the Scrum team, right? So that's why I said you are the Salesforce consultant, you are the Salesforce implementation manager, you are the one that is delivering, right? You want to have a discovery session with the sponsor. Now, in that discovery sessions, who are the people that needs to be there, right? The first person is the product owner, that person that is going to be representing that stakeholder in the Scrum team. Why do we need the product owner to be in the discovery session? The product owner is the person that is going to be building the right thing, right? Because it's the one that, remember when we were watching that video that day, the product owner was the one saying, oh, I never thought of that. Okay, I want this. Oh, no, I want that. It doesn't mean that the product owner knows everything, but the product owner has had discussions, right, with the stakeholder, with the sponsor. The product owner know what they want, right? What are the other people that will need to be there? We need to have what we call the UI, UX, UI, the business analyst, right? Someone will tell me, but we have the product owner. Why do we have the business analyst? In some organization, you are not going to be the one to gather the requirements, right? You might be the one to build the roadmap, do all those things, but you have a business analyst that is working with you. So if there's a business analyst that is going to be working with you, you have the business analyst. You have the UI, UX, UI. That's the user researchers, all those app builder that you guys were talking about, someone that can do that. Sometimes it's the business analyst that will do all this role together. You have what we call the solution architect. Right? Now, the solution architect is just somebody like is a tech lead, right? So sometimes the product owner, you understand what the business wants, you understand what the stakeholder wants to build, but you don't understand all the technology requirements, right? You don't understand what the infrastructure that they need. You understand what I'm trying to say? You might need AWS, right? Something like that. You might need Azure, right? You need that tech lead to be able to architect all those things together, right? So the tech lead is building the thing right. So they will be focusing on building the thing right, right? So that's what they'll be focusing on. So in this discovery session, what do you think will be the discussion? Why are we having that discovery session? What do you want to gain out of that discovery session? Maya?
Yes.
To find out what the user needs.
Okay, so you want to identify the needs. What else?
The values the project is going to bring to the business.
Projects or product value, depending on what you get using. Okay. What else? Discovery session. Think, what are the things?
The stakeholders,
exactly.
Their milestone.
You want to identify the stakeholders.
And their milestones.
You want to identify the milestones, and quick wins.
Scope.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? What you also want to do is Loretta, are you speaking?
No.
Presley, are you speaking?
Scope.
Yes.
Scope.
What about time frame and budget? Would that be something?
Yes, I can see in the chat now. Cause okay, the people are even put, oh, nice. Understanding the scope and the value of the stakeholder, correct. Problem statements, or yeah, good. Problem statements, like pain points. You want to understand the pain point. You want to understand the risk associated. You want to understand if financials has been committed, right?
Competitors, as a product competitor.
Yeah, so at this point, you are not, yes, they can tell you who the project, it can come up in discussion who your competitors are, right? It can come up in discussion who your competitors are, but that work is for the team to go and discover who the competitors are and all that, right? So these are the things you want to focus on doing your discovery. By the time you have that meeting, you see that you have a lot already in place, right? And also ideas will be generated, right? You generate ideas, right? Ideas will be generated. Because as you are discussing, right, ideas will come up. And remember, idea generation is from everyone. It's not just because this is the sponsor alone. Anybody can bring up idea, even the solution architect and all that. So let's imagine now that you finish your initial your discovery session. So you have all these details, you have an information to work with. So let's say that is done. What is the next thing you want to focus on? The next thing you want to focus on is what we call the pre-planning. The pre-planning, right? The pre-planning meeting, right? And who will you have in your pre-planning meeting? You're going to have what we call the Scrum Master, the product owner. So when I say product owner, just see yourself like a Salesforce consultant or the delivery manager, or the it might even be you are a Salesforce business analyst. But on that project, you are representing on the Scrum team. You are going to be a product owner. So that's why I'm using the word product owner. So you get used to it. Then we'll have the tech lead. So what are you doing in this your initial planning? You are going to be having a discussion, right? When should we kick off? When should we kick off? Right? What is the team's availability? Why do you want to know the team's availability? Why do you care to know the team's availability?
So that I can determine your sprint size.
You can determine your sprint size. You can determine when you're going to start. If the team, the squad you want to use are currently working on a project, would they have time for you to start your own project? They won't have time, right? So you want to know, right? Are they working on something that they are about to finish? Right. So how many with this squad that is going to be working on my project, what is their allocation? Are they going to be dedicated to this project? You want to understand those details. After that, you are going to decide a starting date. So that's what that meeting is for. Another thing I'm going to advise you is that this thing I call the pre-planning meeting, even when you start your sprint, please keep this meeting, be having regular meeting, Scrum Master, Product Owner, and Tech Lead. It will make your life very, very easy, right? I know I call this the pre-planning meeting. So even after the pre-planning meeting, when the work is about to start, you also still need to keep them together. You only need to be having that meeting all the time. It will help you a lot. Now, after the pre-planning is done, at that point in time, you already have a Scrum Master attached to you, right? So you have a Scrum Master, Product Owner, and a Tech Lead. When you guys have decided that this is the date we're going to start, right? The Scrum Master is going to set up the meeting. Set up a meeting. Set up a meeting. This will be done by who we call the Scrum Master, right? You set up a meeting. So who are the people that are going to be in that meeting? You're going to have what we call the Scrum Master. I'll just put SM. Scrum Master. You have what we call the product owner. We have what we call the developers. Who are the developers again?
The cross-functional team members working in this
Great. The cross-functional and the self-managing team members, right? Those are the developers. You're going to have what we call shared resources. You're going to have stakeholders. Even sometimes your sponsor can be there, right? So what you have here is everyone, because you are doing what you want to start the project. You want to have a discussion with the larger team. You, the Scrum Master and the product and the executive, you've already had meetings. You've had an idea of what you want to do, the dates you want to start. Then you now set up the larger meeting to start your planning, right? Remember, we said we are doing what we call initial planning and readiness. You first do the discovery session. You have all the details you are going in with, right? Then after that, you do your pre-planning meeting. Then you have your setup to start your planning. When I say set up a meeting, is set up a planning meeting. Because when you're doing planning, you're doing it with everyone. That's the way Agile, works. You said, what do you mean by shared resources? So what I mean by shared resources are the flexible team member. They are not persistent. They are not part of your Scrum team, right? But for the planning, you need them because you need some of their input as well. Maybe like a security analyst, architect, all those people that they are shared within the organization. That's what I mean by shared resources. Okay? They won't be part of your Scrum team. They come to your project as needed. Okay? Who officiate the setup of the planning meeting? The Scrum Master, right? If you have a Scrum Master. If there's no Scrum Master, the PO will do it. But if you're going to run a Scrum team, you're going to have a Scrum Master. The Scrum Master will initiate that meeting. Also.
Sorry, you just scroll up. I just want to see what our number one was again.
Okay.
Okay. Because I thought this was the initial planning. So when you said we're going to set up a pre-planning, I'm like, okay, is this not the planning meeting? But it's different.
Yeah, that's the discovery session. So everything is part of the initial planning and readiness. You are getting ready. So what are the things you do to get ready before you start a sprint? Okay. Then the next one is, so what do we do in this meeting? What do we actually do? We do something some people call it sprint zero, right? But in Scrum, I've told you that there is nothing like sprint zero, right? But some people will call it sprint zero, right? Some people call it planning meeting. Some people call it readiness meeting, depending on what your organization wants to use, right? I call it sprint zero, right? But it doesn't mean that, there's nothing like sprint zero in Scrum, but I'm used to it, and my team too, they understand it when I say we're doing sprint zero, right? So sprint zero is the planning for the team, right? So what are we doing here? We are getting ready, right? And meeting the team. Because sometimes the team might be new, right? So you'll be meeting the team. In sprint zero, what happens? It takes you about 2 to 4 weeks, right? It's not a one-day job, right? You'll see when we start right now that some of the things you're going to be going through, right? It takes about 2 weeks to 3 weeks to 4 weeks, depending on the organization, depending on what is required, depending on the things you need to do as a team. So this can take up to 2 weeks to 4 weeks. Okay, so what do we do in sprint zero? What are the things you do? So I will show you what the agenda is. Then we can start working on it. So the agenda, the first thing you want to do is what we call team mobilization. I'll tell you what that means. You tell them the purpose of the meeting. I'll tell you where your role is more and where the Scrum Master will have to do more. Team norms / working agreements. Product vision. Remember when Mohammed and Mushi was talking about product vision, you see it's part of it. Business strategy. Condition of satisfaction. That's like the value, right? What value are we adding, right? How will you say that we are actually done and we've added value? Stakeholder analysis, process flows, UI diagrams, personas. You don't have to do everything, depending on which one your team or organization wants to use. UI flows, right? Brainstorming and breakdown of features into epic and user story and story cards, right? These are the things you're going to be doing, right? You're going to be estimating the initial backlog. Estimate the initial backlog. Agree on cadence. Initial velocity of the team. Initial velocity of the team. Definition of done. Then after that, we're good. We present the details to the stakeholders. Get agreements and start sprints. Right? So you can see what we need to do to actually get the sprint started. Ose, are you raising up your hand? Okay. So you can see, Uche, you're saying, okay, Uche said team bonding, sprint 0. Yes, team bonding is part of it. Team agreements. Yes, we're going to do one of that. Definition of done. Yes, we're going to do that. What do you mean by agree on the cadence? So what that means is just, you're agreeing that is it going to be a 2-week sprint? Is it going to be a 3 weeks? Is it going to be a 1 week? The team has to agree. You all agree together on the cadence. It's not going to be one person just saying, we're doing a 2-week sprint. Okay? But we're going to go through this, right? And so these are the things you're going to do as per your planning phase. And this can take you 2 weeks, 3 weeks, depending on the things you need to do, right? So these are the things you're going to focus on as you start the sprint. So the first thing we're going to do is team mobilization. So I'm just going to copy the agenda first, right? Then I'm going to publish. If you don't publish, it doesn't save. So when you publish, it saves, right? So you have your initial planning and readiness. Now, under initial planning and readiness, you can create a child, right? So what that means is that if I create another page, it's going to be under the initial planning and readiness. If I don't want it to be under initial planning and readiness, you create it from page here. But if you create it under initial planning and readiness, it will be a page under initial planning and readiness. And that is what I want, right? Because it's still under initial planning that we're working on, right? So what I wanted to bring out is the agenda. So I'm going to call this agenda. I'm going to call this agenda for planning, right? So the first thing is team mobilization. So what do we do in team mobilization, right? In team mobilization, what do? We just want to get to know the team, right? We want to understand who are the people we're going to be working with, right? Especially when it is a new sport, you want to come together and say, these are the people you're going to be working with, right? So that's what we do in team mobilization. So after that, after everyone has introduced themselves, the Scrum Master will tell us what the purpose of the meeting is, right? What is the purpose of the meeting? Why are we here today, right? So the Scrum Master can tell us what the purpose of the meeting is, right? So before we do purpose of the meeting, I want us to watch a video on an example of team mobilization. Why? How you organize yourself, right, to introduce the team you're going to be working with. So you're going to watch a video now. After that, we'll talk about the purpose of the meeting. We're going to stop somewhere here, product vision today, then we continue tomorrow. Okay, so let's look at the video on team mobilization, then we'll go into purpose.
Welcome, everyone. My name is Sally Olata, and I'm so excited to welcome you here to this day in the life of an Agile team simulation. Now, the reason we put this together for you, and trust me, this was hard to get all these individuals here to make this happen for you. All of them are experienced from real-world Agile teams. And the reason we did it is because most people that need to learn Agile either pick up a book or have to go to an actual training class, or they just learn on the go. They just basically go through fire and figure out what they're doing. And we thought, wouldn't it be nice if you could actually experience Agile, if you could see it and watch it through visioning, planning, brainstorming, estimating, sizing, a day in the life of an actual iteration, the daily function of this functional stand-up. Wouldn't it be nice if you could actually see that happen? Looking at this leadership triangle, there is a product owner, and they're the ones that take care of the business vision. What is it that we need to be working on, and why is it important to the team? There's a Scrum Master, some people call him the facilitator, Agile project manager, who that person basically facilitates the entire process. They have to make sure that the process is healthy, that the team is not a command and control individual, it is a servant leader. And so we'll walk through that in more detail. We also have an architect, and the architect can also be referred to as the technical lead, as the solution subject matter expert. They're the person that have the technical vision. They basically translate that business vision into the technical vision. And then, of course, we have our team, and our team member is cross-functional. So we have BAs, QA analysts, developers, testers, everyone that's part of the team business users to actually execute the project. So now let me introduce you to our simulation team members.
Hi, everyone. I'm Melissa, and I'm your product owner for this project. I'm basically here to provide the requirements, help you understand, what's high priority, what should be in, what should be out, and also to help with the definition of done on the stories. And I will be the one at the end that says if this is really done or not, accepting or rejecting the work. So that's my role here today.
And Melissa, can we have multiple product owners, or is it just you?
No, I'm your only product owner, so you're stuck with me for the duration of this project.
I'm Kelly, and I am your Scrum Master for this project. And what my role is to facilitate the processes, the meetings, all the artifacts, the different documents. I'm also here to serve you, servant leadership. So any impediments, if you get pulled out of this project to work on another project or work assignment, let me know. Any type of impediment like that. I'm also here to help us have a healthy behavior for all our meetings, and also to have fun and make sure we're very successful.
Hi, my name is John. I'm going to be the architect on this project, and my central goal here is to make sure that we can translate the business vision into a technical architecture that will not only meet the needs of what we have from the product owner, but also so that fits with our organizational framework. In addition to that, I'll be helping remove any technical impediments that we run across, as well as making sure that the rest of the team is productive and accomplishing all the tasks that we've set forth.
I'm Michelle. I'm the business user. I'm representing the people who are using this system, and I want to make sure that what you guys put in is better than what we have today. We're in a lot of pain, and I want to make sure that we can make this project successful and provide you with the business knowledge that you need to understand what we're going through.
Hi, everyone. I'm Lucas. I'm the senior developer and team lead on this project. I've been with the company for a number of years and really understand both the back end and front end development. So my role is really going to be to provide the guidance and make sure that we implement the right technical solution. I'm a little skeptical of this whole agile process, but my boss says that I need to be doing it. So I guess I'm going to try to jump in and learn it. But I'm pretty sure I can help make sure this project goes in the right direction.
Hi, everybody. My name is Mo. I've been developing a lot of projects using BizTalk Server and SQL Server, and I'm going to be just providing my expertise on all the back-end development and making sure I complete all my tasks within the time.
And Mo, are you new to Agile?
Yes, I'm kind of new, but I'm really excited about joining this team and working like my first Agile project.
All right, my name is Jess. I am a front-end developer. I pair with Mo, and I'm going to be focused on the usability of the website, making sure that the people who interact with the agents and the agents themselves are able to get information quickly, efficiently, and that they really enjoy their job more and increase morale that way. So I'm focused on how they interact with things, as well as the process flow and making sure the data is available. So I'm somewhat new to Agile, but I'm looking forward to learning, and I just want to see success on the project. So.
Hi, team. I'm Lisa, your project sponsor on this project. I'm Vice President of the Claims Department for those that don't know me. And as Michelle and Melissa mentioned, we are in some pain right now. So I'm really anxious to kind of see where this project takes us to, and hopefully you can resolve some of the issues that we're having. My main concern, as you all know, is going to be whether we deliver on time and on budget for this project. These guys are my eyes and ears, and I'm excited to see what we do.
And Lisa, this is your first project, Agile project as a sponsor, is that right?
This is my first time sponsoring an Agile project. So I am a little concerned on how you guys use the different processes and how we'll know whether we're going to be on time and on budget, but I'm willing to see where it takes us.
And we will help you through that.
Thank you. I'm going to need it.
Great. Thanks for being here.
Hi, everyone. My name is Summer, and I'm going to be the business analyst on this project. So I'm really hoping to provide just bridging kind of the gap between the product owner and the team. Really want the team to get involved with me in facilitating meetings with the product owner, making sure that we understand the requirements. I understand some things about Agile requirement gathering as far as how to model things and do some other processes. And so hopefully that will help explain to the team kind of what the product owner is looking at. So I'll be working with the product owner to make sure that we have our acceptance criteria 1 to 2 iterations ahead. And hopefully, if you guys need anything at all, I'd love to be here to help. And I'd like to bear with the developers as well as the QA to make sure that we get this project successful.
Hi, team. I'm Mike. I am a developer, and my specialty is around the automation tools. I help make sure that the tools helps the process. I work with the developers on doing automation of testing and test-driven development with the test team to make sure we can do some automated testing there. Also help with the builds and the deployment. So we're really going to make sure that the process here works right alongside with the tools.
Okay. So that is what you do when you meet the team, right? So, and that's what you're going to be doing in when you start your Agile team, right? Now, the problem you might have is that some of these team members might already know each other. So if it's a squad that is already in existence, you realize that it's more like the product owner that will be the new person on that team because the squad is already in existence. They've delivered maybe some other product or project before, but sometimes the squad might be new, especially when it's a new project. They can just form a new squad and everyone will be new. So in that scenario where that kind of thing exists, you need to meet the team. So you need to understand the team you're going to be working with, right? So that's going to be the first thing you want to do. Then the second thing you want to do is now you want to talk about the purpose of the meeting. Now, the Scrum Master will say, okay, what's the purpose of the meeting? And the product owner will come up and tell us what the product of the meeting is. So now I need someone to act as the product owner and tell us what the purpose of this our meeting, this our initial planning, this planning we do, what is the purpose of that meeting? Okay. What's the purpose of our meeting? You're going to write, you're telling me based on, remember, you've been given a project, right? I'm going to start calling name if nobody's going to respond. You've been given a project, right? Let me look for those people that said yes, that they read this. Mohammed, I'm going to start with you. So what is the purpose of our meeting? Why are we here?
Okay, we're here to discuss an online platform that the Olympic Committee are trying to come up with to actually address the issue of ticket racketeering and provide to provide a seamless ticketing procedure that will be guided by the committee regulations The product will also address the unfeasible nature of fans getting tickets through the primary Olympic channels due to them going out of stock in a very short time frame in relation to the geometrical attendance increase. Hence, there will be an elimination of tickets being sold at overpriced rates by retailers making grasping profits.
Good. That's very good. Do you have it, or you were just reading it offhand? Do you have it in writing? So if you are ready,
I have it in writing.
You have it? So you can come on this page and add yours. So I'll publish, right? You already have access. So just come to where the purpose is, open it up and add yours again. So if anybody else has purpose as well, add it as well, right? You already have access, so you can come in and add purpose, okay? So that's a very good one, Mohammed. That's a very good one. I really like that. So you can come to this page, and add purpose, okay? Okay, good. So now we already know what the purpose of what we're doing is, right? So if I go back to our agenda, we've done purpose. The next thing we want to do is team norms and working agreements, right? So what do we mean by team norms? Anybody have an idea of what a team norm is? Or a working agreement? So a team norm or working agreement is just something we are putting together as a team to say that this is how we want to work, right? This is how we want to agree that we want to do our work, right? If we...
Put it on the comment. Sorry, Ma.
Yeah?
Put it on the comment or add the label.
Sorry, I didn't see that. Sorry, I'll check that. Do's and don'ts, exactly. Ground rules, order of events. So yes, you want to come up with those agreements, how we're going to be doing this. So correct. So that's what we're going to do now. So we are all going to agree on how we're going to be working together. And how Scrum teams do this is that they use a collaboration tool. Remember that I said that you guys can be in the same room. If you're in the same room, you just use your sticky notes and put it on the board. But if you are doing like you have hybrid where some people are online or some people are in the office, you're going to be using tools. And the common tools that organizations use are Confluence, they can use Mural, they can use Miro. In this scenario, we are going to use Mural, right? So I'm going to go to my Mural now. Let me publish this first. I'm going to go to my Mural. I'm going to create a space for us. Let's see. Okay. I'll create this space for us. Hopefully you guys can come in. I'm going to share the link now. Then I'm going to put one second. Just now. Okay. Create new, open Mural, create new. Stop giving me options. Okay, so I'm going to create a framework and I'm going to call it working agreements. I'm going to call it working agreement. So I'm going to share this link on the chat. So you guys are going to use that to come into this Mural board. Click on it to get into the Mural board. Now, I'm going to show you something, right? You come to the left-hand side. You see what we call sticky notes. You have square-shaped sticky notes, rectangular-shaped sticky notes, circle sticky notes. You can take any one of them, right? You come over here, you pick a sticky note, and you pull it towards the board and add your agreement. So what we are doing here right now is that we are coming together to agree. So I said, I'm going to put my own first agreement here. I'm going to say mutual mutual respect while collaborating. Okay, so everyone that are in right now, you come here, go to your left, you pick a sticky note. Let me do it again so you can see. You pick a sticky note. You see there's a black stuff at the edge here. You pick a sticky note, right? Then you pull that sticky note into the box. Then you update it. So I can say at mention anyone that needs to work on an item, right? Nobody has done this, so I don't know. Is it that you guys are having issues?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I just want to know how you got to this page. Apologies.
Okay, use the link in the chat. So the link will take you to the mural board. I can see everyone, but nobody is speaking a sticky note. I don't know if it's because you can't do it or can someone Kizito, do you want to say something?
Yeah. I think he's not letting us. He's saying ask for edit access.
Oh, he's asking for edit access.
I don't know, from my angle, that's what I see.
Request for the edit access.
Okay. Let's do this.
Okay, now I'm going to have to give a lot of people access. Okay. I thought it was supposed to just be open so that everyone can, go in. Okay, so that's why you guys can do it. Okay.
Is it okay that we come in as visitors or it's different?
I don't think you'll be able to do anything as visitors.
But that's what it's requested.
Okay, try. Go in as visitors.
Okay.
But for us to go in as visitors, it's bringing up your name and email, even though it's optional. And it said enter as visitors. When you enter as visitors and you click the paper, it doesn't come out.
Can you share your screen? Can you share your screen? Let me see.
Okay.
Yeah.
One person share screen, please.
It's disabled.
Oh, okay. Who is going to share screen so that they can give the person access? Sorry.
Kizito.
Please, Timmy, can you give Kizito access?
I just did.
Okay, I just entered as a visitor now, but let me close it and just bring it up again. So you see. Okay. So this is what comes out, right?
Enter name, let me see.
And let me use the same email address. Profile.com. So enter as visitor. So you come here and you click on it, nothing is coming out.
Oh, it's totally into ask for edit. Okay, I have to give everyone it's just that it will take time, right?
Maybe you should just give one person to.
Let me see. I'm doing that now.
Okay.
I've accepted. If I accepted you, you'll be able to do it. So I've accepted everyone. Now try. Yeah, all members now.
I'm refreshing the page. It's still saying view only here. It's still saying view only. Not
okay.
There's too much work.
It's still saying view only.
Yep.
Right now it's asking for a seat, your email, password.
It's not supposed to do that.
Okay. I think I just got a mail.
Did you get the email that invited you as a member?
Yes.
So did you accept the membership?
Yeah, then it will tell you to sign up, like give your email address and password.
Which email?
Wow. So I have to fill this.
Let me see.
You hit the wrong link. Go back to the email.
Okay. This one. This one.
No. Go back to the one fully invited you.
This one.
Join. Click. Did you click join?
Click on
It's not the wrong link. I'm in now. It's the same one. You just have to fill that information before you get in. Yes, you have to do that.
Okay, maybe they've changed it. Okay.
No, I think if you click the one above, it probably would work.
Because before you don't have to, right? I'll just send the link and you just join me, you collaborate with me. You get. So maybe it's changed now.
Yeah.
No, there was 2 links in the email though. I think if you click the link, it said Untitled Mural, which I think is the one you're on because you didn't.
Oh, okay.
I think if they clicked on that, they probably.
On that, it will take them there. Yeah, because I've done it several times and it will just take you there.
Okay, well, where is your own?
Oh, it took you somewhere else.
Boy. Maybe now that I'm in, let me just go to that link.
Yes, go to that link now. Go to the link on the chat.
Okay.
You have access now. So next time you don't need to, I can see people on the board. Good. I can see people are in now. So are you in now, Kizo?
Yes, I'm in now.
Okay, good. You can stop sharing now.
Okay.
Okay, good. So you just get familiar. I can see people adding more to the board. Good job. So what we're doing right now is what we call working agreements. Everyone is going to say something. Everyone is going to add something to the board. So you are going to collaborate together to add information to the board to say, okay, these are going to be our working agreement. You can see that as this is going on, you can also put a timer. You can say that 1 minute. I'm going to give 1 minute, but you give people time. Like let's say 5 minutes for them to put out their thought, right? So I'm going to say 1 minute for the timer. But on a normal day, you give them like 10 minutes, 5 minutes, so that everyone can put their thought together, right? So in 1 minute, I'll stop you guys, but try. So I can see that some people are still having issues, but after today's class, you still have access to this page, so you can always go back there, okay? And try to add more, right? But after 1 minute, I will stop you guys.
Sorry, could you just send me access? I don't know. I think
you need access.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm having some kind of issues.
Oh, more people ask for access. Okay. Okay, I just gave you access. Okay. So if you are still having issues to how to pick these notes, look at me, right? I'll go to the left, sticky notes, pick the note and drag it. When you drag it, then type on it. Okay?
So after typing, you just leave it like that, right?
Yes, just leave it like that.
Do you drag the text box into the...
Yes.
You just type?
The sticky notes.
Yeah.
Drag it and type inside. That's all.
And type inside, okay.
Yes. So you
accept my own request.
You another request. Okay, I've accepted it. So you type it, right? So my 1 minute is over, right? So I want you guys to pause. Let me finish this. Then you can come back and come and work on it, right? Learn more how to use it, right? So let's imagine that we now have all this, right? So sometimes when you say, let's do the work agreement, it can be a lot, right? So when everything is on board, the Scrum Master will now come on board and say, okay, let's vote so that we can all agree on what our working agreement to be. So right now, I'll tell us to vote, right? I'm going to put on a voting. You can see the voting at the top. If I click on it, it goes to voting. I'll say start voting. It's asking me that what do I want them to vote on? I'll say I want them to vote on all the sticky notes, right? I'm going to give you each 2 votes. So you're going to vote on 2, let's say 3 items that you want it to be part of our working agreement, right? So now I'm going to start and you vote. So begin voting. You have 3 votes. So you're going to pick three working norms that you want to make sure that it's part of our norms, right? I'm voting, you vote on your side. You can only vote 3, right? So you do that on your own side as well, right? I'm going to give you another 1 minute to vote. After that 1 minute, I'll stop. Then we'll count the votes, okay? So just look at the sticky notes on the board. They are all working agreement that the team has put together, right? I'm not saying that pick 3 that must be part of our working agreement. From your side, don't pick what I pick. I know you can see my screen, but pick what you think should be part of the working agreement based on all the things we have on the board right now, okay? And you have access to pick 3 things because I gave you 3 voting rights, right?
Are we able to vote if we don't have access? Because
you don't have access. Did you just request for access?
No, it's been pending. Cafe.
Okay. So 1 minute is over. I'm going to end the vote.
Okay.
So you won't be able to vote anymore when I end the vote. So I'll just end it, right? You can still learn as a group together. So I'll end the vote, right? So you can see for mutual respect while collaborating, we had 8 votes. So what we are saying is that, let's say that all of us have voted, right? What we are saying is that the highest vote here, this mutual respect, it must be part of our working agreement because all of us want it, right? No phones when in meetings was the next one. Is important, so it must be part of it. Then clear goals, open communication and collaboration, it must be part of it. Then as mentioned is the next one, like that, right? But what I'm saying is that you can now see what is important to everyone in the team. Then you now agree that that should be part of our working agreement. Okay? So that's how you do that voting, right? You now agree. Then it's to show you the total number of your working agreement. So at this point in time, we have finished our working agreement and we have all agreed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to download it, right? I'm telling you to download in form of a PDF. Why am I saying that? Because I want to add it to our Confluence page, right? Because what we did here is just we collaborated together to be able to achieve this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it as our working agreement on our Confluence page. Working agreements, match. Okay. Right. Now I'm going to add it to our Confluence page. I'm going to go back to conference, okay? Sorry, I had something. Same way, I received an email, but login not showing. Okay, so now I'll come here. You also create another page under initial planning because we are still under initial planning, right? And I called it working agreements, right? And I'm going, this is for adding image, and I'm going to add image. Remember the working agreement we just worked on? I know I saved it. Anyway, I'll go to the download and get it. Was this one? Right? So I'm going to add it there. Another thing you can do as a team is you can put them in this format, right? You put them in this format, right? What is on that place? You add it here, right? Working agreements. And you start adding it, right? Mutual respects, etc., right? So I'll leave that to people that have access to this board. Look at this PDF and write out all the working agreement that are here. Add it. When you add it, you publish, right? So you publish, you can see it. So if you go to working agreement, you see it's purpose, you see the purpose. So Mohammed, when you have time, you add your purpose. And for every other person that also work on the assignment, you add your purpose. So at this point, we finished our team norms and working agreement. So tomorrow, we are going to start with product vision, right? And I told you that you can have 3 ways to write the product vision. So for those that have not done the assignment, when you get home today, you can work on the product vision. And I also want you to work on the business strategy, right? Now, for the business strategy, I'm going to send you the link where you're going to put the information. Let me just go there now. You guys already have access to Mural. So we're going to be doing it on Mural. 1 second. I'm looking for my Mural board. Okay, I think it's here. Okay, I'll send it. I'm going to share now. So use this opportunity to learn this more. Now I'm going to go to, I think everyone has access, right? Let's see where else is requested. Make member. Okay. So now I'm going to go to my board. I want to share a link with you. Let me title it so that it's easier for you guys to see it. I'll call it business strategy. Okay. I'm going to share that business strategy link on the chat. You guys can see my screen, right?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Yes. Okay, so I'm going to share that business strategy link on the chat. You don't have to do it now. You can do it later. But when you read that document I gave you, I want you to be able to come here and put the high-level scope. What did you think at the high-level scope from that document? What's the product vision? Don't write anything here, because if I tell you to write, a lot of people will have different product vision style. Just have it handy. We'll discuss it in class tomorrow. What the value proposition is. What do you think is out of scope? Who are the stakeholders? What are the legal and compliance? What are the constraints, right? What are the dependencies that you notice? How do you do this? Just get a sticky notes and pull it here and write your details. There are already sticky notes in those boxes. You write it based on what you read, what is out of scope. So put this business strategy together, then we'll discuss it tomorrow. So tomorrow you are coming up with your product vision and your business strategy, right? So if you see that it's getting too much, no space, you can just have it handy, right? And for those that can put it in Jira, they can also put it in Jira. I just want to show you that we are collaborating together to get those details out, and I will discuss that tomorrow. So we'll start from the product vision tomorrow, and we'll go into the business strategy. But try and read that documentation and come up with your ideas, then we'll discuss together. Okay? But are you saying this one is in view only for you? Were you able to work on the other one? Oh. You should have access now, okay?
It's on view only, and I just requested access. Okay.
Yeah.
On the new link that you posted.
The new link to is saying view only?
Yes.
Oh
yes.
My God. So that means I have to. Anyway, anybody that requests access, I will give them access. But just add that link so that you can put your details and we can discuss it tomorrow. Okay? So that link, tell me if you want to copy it so that you can have it for the team. Okay? So I know we spent extra minutes today and there was no break. Sorry about that. It was just a lot to, take in, right? So but I just want you guys to get comfortable using Morale, get comfortable using Confluence and Jira. Okay, and this is just the process to show you what happens at the beginning before you actually start the sprint. We said sprint is very easy, but you still need to do some planning before you actually start the sprint work. Okay?
Yeah, I've copied it and pasted it on the Slack channel. So anybody that wants to accept the link after now.
Okay, good. Yeah, so we'll stop here today and then we'll continue tomorrow. Okay, so tomorrow we'll start from the product vision and we'll go into the business strategy. So try and read the document so that you can also follow along and ask questions. Okay? Thank you so much, everyone. Enjoy the.
Sorry, which document? Is it the link you just sent? Because that link is a mural. It's to the mural site.
The document you will have received since.
Oh, okay, I see.
The simulation document. The document I sent, all those. There's one of them that is a case study. So
yeah, it's also on the Slack channel. It's been there since Saturday or Friday evening. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, no problem. I thought you said a new one. That's right.
Okay, no, the same one. Okay. Mohammed, you have a question?
Yes, I have a question. I just wanted to, not like a question, like you affirming what I understand about everything we did today. Okay. So what we did today now, it's actually an agile, mindset of
exactly
coughing a project.
Yes.
And except we are the product owner in the firm, we're not going to be doing all of this. Right?
No. So if you are the business analyst, you'll be doing this, but you're not the one driving it. You'll just be part of the developers team. Those people that they call developers, those development teams.
Oh, yes, like the lady that introduced herself as a business analyst.
Exactly. So you just be part of the team. You do the working agreement, but you're not the one leading it. You just go on the mural board and add your own too. You get.
Okay, so if you're not the Scrum Master, when all of this is done and you're not in the sprint, then you're not the one leading that.
Yes, even if you are the Scrum Master, you're the one leading this thing. You're the one making sure they put the Scrum, the working agreement together. I'll show you the video tomorrow.
It's pre-planning. Oh, yeah, you stay the Scrum Master.
Yeah. So the planning is product owner and Scrum Master. Product owner will lead some things. Scrum Master will lead some things. So for this working agreement, Scrum Master is leading it. When it comes to product vision, the product owner will talk about it. So they are collaborating. That's why they had that pre-planning meeting. So that when they get to planning, they are working together to put all those details together before the sprint starts.
Okay, I guess this explains what you were saying, how the Scrum Master serves the product owner. So this is part of it. I think this is part of it.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay, great. So we'll continue tomorrow, okay? Kizito, you want to say something?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Florence, I'd like to ask a question.
Okay, Bodu.
Well, you're probably late to the party. What's the title of the document that has the assignment on the Slack?
I call it simulation case study. Timmy, please, can you help repost so that just...
I found it.
Found it. Okay, good. Okay. So we continue tomorrow, okay? Enjoy your evening, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Good night.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Okay.